Hey guys, so chapter 1005 of One Piece, entitled Devil Child, just came out, and as the title may suggest, as it is Nico Robin's epithet, this is a largely Nico Robin centric chapter, which I'm a big fan of because I am a big Robin fan, and we have not gotten a lot of Robin coverage for a long, long time. But before we get into that, there is a cover page this chapter that I wanted to talk about because it's Katakuri. And I do like me some Katakuri. I'm a sucker for some Katakuri. And it's just him eating donuts while there's some cats and dogs in the background also eating donuts and drinking milk. Um, but anyways, getting into the chapter, we pick up where he left off with the Sanji stuff, where Black Maria is still trying to get him to call for Nico Robin. And pretty much third panel of this chapter are the big theory from last chapter gets immediately debunked. The girl with the mask was not Nico Robin, as we see as it pans out. Her bottom, like out of her feet, or maybe that's a tail. I don't know. Either her feet or like a tail is a crocodile head or an alligator head. Um, that's pointing like backwards. So she's a gifter, which means it's definitely not Robin. But in any case, uh, Black Maria starts to try to interrogate, well, not interrogate, but beat beat it out of him with brass knuckles, which is kind of intense. I was not expecting brass knuckles from Black Maria. Up until now, she was portrayed very ladylike, I guess, for lack of a better word, and she definitely gained a lot of intensity this chapter. Um, Kind of dominatrix esque stuff. I wouldn't say that, but you know, but we get the name of her webs, which are called hard gum, and any Hunter fans, I'm sure that immediately set off some flags, because the first thing I thought about when I read that is bungee gum. Having the properties of rubber and gum. So now we have hard gum having the properties of, I don't know, cobwebs and gum. But yeah, that was kind of funny. That that saying is Hisoka's little saying there is ingrained into my head. The word gum is just completely ruined for me because anytime I see it, I immediately think of bungee gum, and and now it's being used in the way she says it is very similar to how Hisoka says it. So that's why I kind of immediately set off that flag for me. But anyway, yeah, Black Maria has brass knuckles and starts beating the crap out of Sanji. Um, at which point we we zoom out to the the other gifters, part of Black Maria's little troop there, I guess. Um, and they're like, oh, this man, he'd rather die than sell out his friends. And then he proceeds to be like, Sanji says, stop hitting me. I can't say anything if you keep hitting me. And again, they're like, oh, he's about to tell her to shove off or whatever. And then he proceeds to just yell out for Sanji, or not for Sanji, for Robin. So a little goofy moment there. Um, Typical Oda humor stuff. At which point we pan across Onigashima to see what everybody's up to as they're hearing this message, which I think we've gotten quite a few. We got something similar like 2 chapters ago, I want to say. Um, it was during the little when we cut away briefly to the Cypherpole agents. There was like a brief like montage of everything that's going on in Onigashima currently, and we're getting a similar little thing here. We get to see Apu versus X Drake. That is still happening. Chopper's still doing or making the cure. We see part of Kid's crew. I do not know the names of these two people, but they're pretty much, apart from Killer and Kid, these are pretty much the only two characters that stand out whenever I see Kid's crew. There's one that looks like he reminds me instantly of Hawkins's like straw transformation back in Sabadi. I don't know if we've seen that since. Um, but that kind of transformation where he turns to like a straw man, that one guy kind of, again, no idea what his name is, but he kind of resembles that. And there's that one guy with like the sideburns and the spiky hair that, again, don't know the name of. We see Beppo, we see the main floor of Onigashima, where we do get confirmation that Marco is still fighting King. And it looks like there's some sort of, I don't know who's shooting him. There's some sort of projectiles. I can't tell if, like the way it looks like they're being shot from King. But I don't know if those are just like impact marks of them like hitting King. Because the style of like the projectiles look kind of like energy or like fire projectiles. It gives me like Marco vibes, but they also kind of look like they're coming off King, so I don't know who's firing the projectiles. Let's see, we see Jinbei kind of casually dispatching who's who while he's thinking to himself. So I don't know if that's just kind of a like showing that he's kind of in another layer or on another level than who's who, which I wouldn't be surprised about because just the track record we've seen of Jinbei, he's very comfortable standing up to some heavy hitters. Really, I mean, just thinking back, he has he vagabond drilled Big Mom. It obviously didn't do much to her, but it was enough to get her off the ship. He stomped a Kainu with his bare hands back in Marineford. I'm thinking, what else has he done? Those are the two big ones that I remember. I don't know. He one-shot Opera back in not Fishman Island, Whole Cake Island also. So yeah, Jinbei's kind of a powerhouse, and it seems like he's able to deal with with who's who kind of easily, or that could just be like not really a good descriptor of the their actual strength, and it might shift more in who's who's favor later. We also see Frankie. He says, what kind of man does that? That's obviously a trap because we all know his big manly stuff. He definitely wouldn't have done it in that situation. Well, maybe he would. I don't know, because as we see later, it's kind of more of a. I'll say it when I get to it. We see Marco again saying, "Oh, this is an interesting group." We see Nami, who immediately says, "Ah, he must be fighting against a woman," because Sanji wouldn't do that. And she obviously has personal experience with a similar situation back in Eni's lobby, where she basically had to do the same thing and bail him out against Khalifa. But Usopp notices the Marys, as we learn the name later in the chapter. The little animals with the tags on their face are called Marys, and he notices them. So I wonder if Usopp is kind of crafty with these kind of things, so I wonder if he'll somehow figure out how to use them and perhaps be able to use that to his advantage somehow. And maybe not, maybe it was just a little throwaway thing. But I would like to think that that might have some impact later. But we go back to Black Maria, at which point Robin does appear and uses a gigantesco. How do I say that word? Gigantesco mano, slaps Black Maria across the face in a very satisfying entrance. Like I said, I'm a big Robin fan, and we have not gotten a Robin fight. We've not gotten a one-on-one Robin fight since Yama in Skypiea, which, for context, is probably late 200s, early 300s in terms of chapter range. Maybe even early 200s. I could be way off there. And Yama and Skypiea, the thing was, it was not. Basically, the only reason she kind of struggled at all there is because she was trying to protect the ruins, and she was like trying to lure him away from the ruins. At which point, when she finally succeeded in doing that, she basically just two-shot him or whatever. She used the funny road thing she does with her hands and just led him into a tree. At which point, his own axe dials like cut him up. But yeah, Robin's here. She says, keep it in line with the devil epithet. She says that I've spent half my life with bad organizations with bad people. She's infiltrating bad people and hopping from organization to organization. So naturally, seeing my friends mistreated brings out the devil in me. So big good. I don't really know how to describe it, but good stuff from Robin coming out here. This is just so needed from Robin, and Brooke's here too, which is just as good because Brooke I don't think has gotten a 1v1 fight, period, unless you count that one random guy from Fishman Island, the guy that went invisible, or not invisible, he camouflaged himself, which basically all the people from Fishman Island were fodder, so, I don't really personally count that as 1v1, and I don't think many other people either do that as like a major fight. But he cuts the webs loose, and well, not him, he doesn't say it, the other people there, I don't really know what to call them, part of Black Mirror's troop there, say that, the frost is breaking apart the webs, because we know that Brooke can summon the chill of the underworld or whatever, after the time skip. And I don't know if we've actually seen him use that since Fishman Island. I could be wrong. I don't remember him using it. He might have used it on Punk Hazard, actually, against like that one dragon. But other than that, so yeah, he's, as he says, it's a good matchup for him. So it looks like he might be staying in this fight with Black Maria, which initially I was a little disappointed about, just because, I kind of wanted a 1v1 Robin versus Black Maria. But the way Black Maria is being described, she might be a bit more of a powerhouse than I was expecting. I was personally expecting her to be on the lower end of the power spectrum, at least when it came to the Toby Ropo. Probably more in line with like Ulti and Page 1, less so than, Drake or Who's Who. But, it looks like she's the way she's being depicted makes her seem more like the upper echelon, yeah, of the Toby Ropo. In any case, but yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. That doesn't really happen till the end of the chapter. Sanji gets away. He's going to the scabbards, because last chapter Black Maria obviously mentioned that the scabbards, they found the scabbards in that one room, and she was trying to get someone to go and get them. In any case, Black Maria tries to go after him, at which case Nika Robin steps in. It's like, oh, your last word, or, well, Black Maria says, Blackleg, I won't let you escape, and then Nika Robin says, oh, are those your last words? Again, another cool panel there, and also a panel where she winks at Sanji and says, oh, you made my day, thanks for counting on me. Again, that's nice. To finish what I said earlier during when I was talking about Frankie, I feel like some people will be possibly upset with how Sanji was depicted here. I mean, people already are, but having him essentially call out anyway, basically, maybe it'll be like the people, the part of the Black Maria's little group there, expecting him to to never give in, just to the color anyway. But I mean, we could assume that she was gonna call him based on last chapter when he said don't underestimate Nico Robin. And so yeah, it's basically a big show of trust, or that they believe, or that he believes in Nico Robin, and she's basically paying back the favor, because the whole thing is that she now has friends that can protect her, and now she's turning around and doing the same, and is able to protect her friends. So a nice little scene there. I really like the panel where Nico Robin gives Sanji the wink. That's such a nice little panel. And Sanji slips on the ice that Brook made. But then we go back to the storage room with Yamato, Shinobu, and Momonosuke. And here's where it's revealed that the various animals surrounding Onigashima are called the Marys, that they use to spy on, are basically used as surveillance. And they're actually cyborgs, apparently. They're not actual animals. But in any case, a bunch of, random beast pirates come knocking on the door with a big log, trying to bust it down. In which case, we get, Momo's big big thing, you know, he hides in Yamato's clothes, um, continuing with that little gag surrounding Momonosuke. But Shinobu and Yamato bust out, so they are back in the fight. I'm interested to see what will happen with them. For Yamato in particular, I could see two ways, if she gets a fight, which I imagine she will. I can see two possible ways of it going at the moment. Personally, I would either like to see her, one, on the rooftop battle against Kaido and Big Mom, or two, in the event that the Big Mom pirates arrive, which probably won't happen now, obviously, since Onigashima is in the air, unless maybe you think that the raid is going to fail and that they'll have to try again, or however that'll play out. Obviously, I know a lot of people, maybe not a majority, but there's definitely a decent amount of people that think the raid will fail. To name one, Mr. Morge is like the champion of that particular train of thought. But in any case, we get Jack. Jack is back up, and he is heading to the Scabbards to go finish him off. A lot of people thought that Jack wouldn't be out of the fight, and I honestly thought he was fully out of the fight. I didn't think he was going to be returning. So I guess I was wrong on that particular matter. But the fact that he's going to the Scabbards and Sanji also makes me think that we're possibly going to get Jack versus Sanji, which I don't know how I feel about that, because I personally want him to fight Queen, and especially since Jack is already heavily injured, I don't think if Jack versus Sanji is his big matchup for this arc, I think that would definitely be a bit of a disservice to Sanji. However, it could very well be that he, is able to swiftly dispatch of Jack in that injured state, and then he maybe also goes to fight Queen. That would definitely be good, especially since, I don't know, thinking back to the last arc, Luffy beat two commanders of Big Mom, and this arc he's fighting two emperors, and Zoro is also going to be involved fighting with two emperors. So Sanji being able to fight two commanders in this arc would not be entirely out of the question, I don't think. But anyway, we get the last page of the chapter. It's back to what I was saying. I don't know if she transformed or if her spider just looks weird from the back. Because it looks a little different, I feel like, or maybe not. In any case, she takes off her kimono. I don't know if she was wearing a kimono. I think it was, and we see her back, at which she has a tattoo. And my Japanese skills are exactly 0, so I have to rely on the translation. It apparently means, it signifies like a disaster that falls upon a man when a woman likes him. Or the dangers of a woman, apparently. So there's that. And we get the final scene of the chapter where she says, you now belong to Kaido, Nika Robin. And Nika Robin says, no thanks, I would rather die. And Brooke is obviously having a blast. Despite the fact that her lower half is obviously a spider, so he can't really see his favorite article of clothing. But yeah, he's definitely enjoying himself in that last panel. So yeah, it does look like we will get Brooke and Nika Robin versus Black Maria. I was personally kind of hoping that Brooke would fight Hawkins, and I don't know if, obviously, X-Drake was a Toby Roppo member, and there's a lot of Straw Hats that are currently fighting a Toby Roppo member, so it's not, out of the question for Brooke to be able to fight Hawkins, in my opinion. I don't know if that's controversial or whatever, but I definitely think he could, and I definitely even think it could have been a situation where his ability to impact souls might have made Hawkins unable to use his voodoo doll technique where he gains extra lives. Like maybe he could have, reaped the souls from the dolls, effectively making them useless. So it would be Hawkins will only have one life. I think that would be a very cool situation, but obviously at the moment there's really no sign of that happening. In fact, we haven't really seen Hawkins at all since he's way back when he said there's a certain man that has a 1% chance of being alive tomorrow. Which was, geez, that was maybe chapter 990. I think. I could be wrong. It definitely feels like it was definitely really way back when Onigashima was just starting, right when the fights were starting, and I don't think we've seen him since. But in any case, that is the chapter. Also, sorry, I should mention this. Black Maria has a weird weapon. It's a big wheel, a flaming wheel on a stick, with a head on it. And apparently this wheel on fire with a man's face is some sort of Japanese yokai. Just like a bunch of Black Mirror's group is based off yokai. This one apparently is also. So that's something. But it does make for a very cool last panel or last page. I'm personally a very big fan. I don't know if she's gonna fight topless. I doubt it, because this is a shonen manga. It's for young boys, like what, 12 to 14 I think is the target demographic for Shonen Jump. I forget. But in any case, yeah, that's the chapter. I don't know if there's anything else. I feel like oh yeah, the whole thing with Sanji, like his message being broadcast to the whole thing. I feel like in Act 5 there's gonna be or maybe end of Act 4, whenever the the battle is over, there's gonna be there. I guarantee there's gonna be some sort of gag where somebody calls Sanji out on it, or like he gets sideways glances from everybody that heard it. Although I don't know if Zoro would be able to do that, because obviously he's on the roof, and I don't know if there's any of the funny animals up there, the funny Marys. I guess I should call them for the proper name now. There's something similar happened in One Punch Man, the One Punch Man manga recently. I don't know how many people actually read the One Punch Man manga, so I'm not gonna say what it was. But basically, practically the exact same situation, or something very similar happened to a One Punch Man character in the manga recently. And if you know, you know. But in any case, yeah, that is about it. Like I said, much needed Robin-centric action chapter. That, Robin personally is probably one of my favorite Straw Hats. Maybe number 3. Definitely top 5 at the very least. Even though that might not be saying much since there's 10 total. But in any case, yeah, much needed. Robin loved this chapter. So yeah, with that, see ya.